Right, so we are going to talk through the process of submitting for the FMUL. So I'm going to do my own submission live on stream here, and you will see, hopefully, my submission sheet here. Yep. I can't actually see anything happening, so the chat, I'm going to have to ignore you for a while. Sorry, I'm not being rude. But you'll see the submission sheet here, and you'll see Football Manager here, and hopefully this will help you to see what we're doing. I will have to play through the pre-season to do the last bit, but that's okay because we can always cut to that. So I have got to the last day of the season. I've played my last game, and it was a very tense game. I could have gone down. It turns out in the end I would have been safe anyway, even if I'd lost. But I could have gone down potentially in that last day. But those last two games were really crucial. We managed to pick up those 2 wins. It was a very important team meeting that we had after that 4-0 defeat, and it made all the difference, I think, because we had a bit of a bad run after quite a good start. But yeah, so it was a little bit touch and go, but I just about made it in the end. I nearly got sacked about 6 times. But here we go. So the way I tend to do this, and other people presumably do this differently, but the way I tend to do this, and let me just make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. The way I tend to do this is I work round in a little sort of circle so that I don't forget anything. So I'm going to start off with doing the league place. So you get points initially for the league. So I take a screenshot. Now the important thing with this is that you need to include the date, just so that we can see that it's the right season. Otherwise you could in theory put any season in here. Okay, so you put the date in here and you select that, and then you paste it into here. Okay, now some people have been putting right click and click and paste in cell. I'd actually personally rather people didn't do that because it's harder for us to then zoom into them. When we get this, we need to be able to see the screenshots properly, which means we then have to zoom in, and it's more difficult. So ideally just leave it there. Okay, and then you can also put in the number of points you get. I finished 9th. Right, so I've just quickly changed that to the new scoring system that has been sent out, which hopefully everyone should have, but could you just make sure that you have the correct points here? And you can see I finished 9th, so I only get 4 points for my league place, which is not ideal. It's quite a low scoring season, this. I think this is quite a tough team though, so I'm not sure everyone's going to have done particularly massively better than that, although as you can see I wasn't a huge amount of points off 6th, which would have been 18 points, so it would have made a big difference. So yeah, frustrating that really. I wasn't in Europe, so I can put a 0 there. If you're claiming 0 points, you don't need to put any screenshots in because you're not claiming anything. I'm then going to go to cup, and I think I did get some points in the cup, so let me just put the cup in there. And indeed I did. I got to the quarter-final. So I'm just going to take that. Now there are various ways you can actually do this particular screenshot. This tends to be the easiest for me, but if you prefer to do it through using the trophy screen or something like that, it's totally fine by me, as long as it proves where you finished in the cup, or where you were knocked out in the cup rather. One thing to say is if you're submitting in a season where you didn't get knocked out of something, and there are some places, and this is particularly for the continental rounds, where you from one season to the next you won't necessarily have a full continental season, then you may need to leave it blank for the first season and then do it for the next season. I know that in Asia that's often the case, but obviously for me at the moment that was irrelevant. So the quarter-final you can see here is 12 points, so I'm going to put 12 here. I'm then going to go to the Youth Academy points, which takes a little bit more calculation. The way I tend to do it is to sort my squad list by appearances, and then just check there's no one up right at the bottom who's got 10. There isn't. This guy here has got 10. Substitute appearances count. This guy here's got 10, but as you can see there's no asterisk next to his name. He's not a youth product. That's how I always mark my youth products. I would suggest you do it the same way. It's not absolutely essential, but the easiest way to just prove the points that you're getting here. So I'm going to take a screenshot from Elder Sehic. I'm also going to just select all of the Youth Academy players just to make it easier for people to see it when we look at the screenshot. There's only 4 of them who actually got points this year, so I'm going to select them, and I'm just going to do that. I just need the players themselves. You only need to do it for the appearances. None of the other statistics matter for this screen. And paste it into here. Doesn't matter that it's a bit small, we will zoom into it when we get there. It's easier if it's just easy to see which screenshot's which. I will now just add them up, so you get 1 point for every 10 games, but you don't carry anything over. So here's 23, I get 2 points for that. 18, that's 1 point. 15, I get 1 more point. So that's 2, 3, 4, and then down here 1 more point. So there's 5 points there for my youth academy. Now, in later seasons, that tends to grow, particularly in the first season of the odd editions, so 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. You're not going to have a huge number of youth academy players because you've only had one season of them, but they are there, so you can start to build them a little bit. I'm then going to go to my board confidence points, and I'm going to get that by going to Club Vision, and you can just check that board is selected. I think it usually is by default. And like you can see there, I got a C-, which I think was a bit generous actually, because I didn't do very well. The key thing here that people sometimes get wrong is that you don't include the date in that. The date must be included, so you can't just do this part here. You need to include the date. So in most screenshots, that means you have a little rectangle of that kind of size, and then again paste it into the board confidence points part. You can make it small as you need to fit it in, but keep it as big as you can within that. Sometimes people stretch it a little bit, that's fine, it makes it a little bit easier to see. As long as it's not too distorted, that's absolutely fine. And as you can see, board confidence of C gives me 10 points. So that changes to 10. Fan confidence we leave till later, we'll come back to that. You need that on the first day of next season, so that's irrelevant at this point. I'm also not claiming any trophy points, so I'm going to put 0 here. If I'd won a trophy, then obviously if I'd won the league, you've got 20 extra points. If I'd won the Champions League, 25 extra points and so on. If you win something like a Super Cup, you'll need an extra screenshot here just to prove it. That's mostly what that's for. But as I say, in this occasion, I have not got any points for trophies because I didn't win any. So that's a 0. Now, the challenge points doesn't yet. Well, no, it does. It will never, I don't think, apply to the qualifying tournament. So for Napoli, you don't need to worry about this box. However, in future seasons, this may well become relevant to you. So this season, as you can hopefully see on the Football Manager side of the screen right now, the challenge for Division 2, the 30-point challenge was to concede the most goals in the league. Now, I realised quite early on that my team wasn't very good, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to be really attacking and basically try and go for that. And as you can see, I am indeed the highest conceding team in the league. It does mean that I'm sort of mid-table in the scoring league as well, even though I finished, was it third from bottom, second from bottom, something like that. But I did manage to get the challenge because I got those 30 points for being the highest conceding team in the league. Now, obviously, those challenges are different every single season. They will be sent out by your mod, or your admin rather, at the start of the season. And you'll know what you need to go for. But in this case, the 30.1 was conceding the most goals in your league, and that is what I managed here. This is a slightly annoying one because obviously there's a lot of wasted space in the middle there because I've got quite a high resolution screen. There probably is a clever way that I could shrink it a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it now. That is 30 points for me. Now, there is now the fan confidence points. I can't do that until the beginning of next season, so I'm going to cut now, or rather Chris the editor is going to cut now, to the beginning of next season, the first day of the league season, and you will see the way that I finish that off and then send it off. But this is the majority of the points that you're going to need to do. There's just one screenshot along with some points to collect still. Okay, so I will be back shortly. Right, so I think we are getting now to the end. Yep, we are. So we're now on the day of the first game of the next season in the league. Notice other teams have already played, that's fine. Okay, but you've got to get to the day of your first game. Do not play this game before the deadline. So I'm not allowed to now play this. I'm now done. In fact, I'm going to save it. And this is good practice too. We will eventually start to change these things. Okay, but we're going to save this as Gio and Belupo, start of season 2. I'm then going to save it again just so that it doesn't oversave that, because obviously at the moment it will oversave it. So save it just as Gio and Belupo. So that just means I've got a save for that moment throughout. Now at the moment we haven't really been checking that, but we are going to start doing that. So please do make sure you do that. Then the next stage is to do the last screenshot, which is to go to Club Vision, and this time you don't want board, you want supporters. I'm going to move my face down a bit. Okay, you want supporters, and then you need to, once again, you need to get the date in so that we can see that date there. We will obviously know what the start of the season is, 19th of July in this case. And then once again, you need to, just get my other display capture up, you need to put that screenshot into your spreadsheet here, this box here. Obviously make it small enough that it fits in the box, but as big as you can within that. and my C rating again, so that means that I can claim 12 points for that. And that is it. So at this point, that's the only screenshot you need, and that is then your final score, which in my case is 73. As you can see, not a great season. Under 100 is usually not great, although obviously it does depend on what team you have. And this wasn't a great team. I don't think it's a terrible score, but it's not good. So as you can see, I have some work to do here in this save, but that is what you need to do. So what I will now do is save that, and then I will send that to my admin. Now you have a choice here. You can absolutely do it as an Excel sheet and just send them to them direct. We can all accept those, or you can do it as a what's it called, a Google sheet, but I choose to do it by Excel, which is absolutely fine. I just need to remind myself who my admin is. It is Finn. Sorry, I'm just giving you a little bit of preview there. So I need to send this to Finn, so I'm going to find Finn here, just find Finn, yes. And Finn then needs a file called GOM3, which is there. And then I press enter, and I am done. As soon as you've sent that off, as far as I'm concerned, your season is over and finished and happy. So hopefully that is enough to give people a really good idea of where we're doing with this. If there are any questions, let me know in the comments, let me know in the Twitch chat, DM me on Discord too, whatever is easiest for you, but that hopefully gives you a pretty good idea of what you need to do. I'm going to head off now, but yeah, as I say, DM me in Discord if you need any help on doing that. Bye for now.